Magandang umaga, Malacañang Press Corps, and welcome sa ating press briefing ngayong araw, June 26. At the 18th National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, board meeting yesterday, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. approved the flagship Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project, or PDIP, presented by the Department of Information and Communications Technology. The PDIP is designed to boost broadband connectivity nationwide, particularly in remote areas. It's also going to strengthen cybersecurity. And with us this morning is DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey Ian Dy to tell us about the Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project. Good morning, Undersecretary Dy.
Good morning. Malacañang Press Corps.
Go ahead and tell us about the PDIP.
So the Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project is a World Bank loan worth $288 million. It is the largest and actually the first of its kind in the Philippines for a loan for digital infrastructure. It will seek to complete the national fiber backbone, which spans from, remember that in April, the President already launched the first phase of this, which goes from Baler to Lawag, then to Metro Manila. This year, we are going to finish phase 2 and 3 of the national fiber backbone, which connects Metro Manila to southern Luzon. With this loan, we should be able to get submarine cables across Visayas and then connect it to Mindanao. On top of that, it's a domestic submarine cable. On top of that, we should be able to also provide 772 free Wi-Fi sites, concentrating on Mindanao, regions 11, and Region 13. We would like to note that according to our research, for every 10% increase in internet penetration rate, it constitutes approximately 1.38% increase in our gross domestic product. And that is the reason why this project is very important. The reason why we're targeting regions in Mindanao is because even though the entire country has an internet penetration rate of 73.6%, approximately 86 million Filipinos have access to internet, this disparity is larger in Mindanao, where in some regions, especially Region 13, the internet penetration rate is lower than 17%. So we that's really the target of this development fund. It's a development program. And I would also like to note that the National Fiber Backbone and the National Broadband Program has been a national vision for quite some time already, and we are proud to say that with this project, we should be able to finish within by 2028 this entire span of the national fiber backbone. And with the proper policies in place, we should be able to bring down the cost of internet and to also increase the speed of internet at par with our regional counterparts in the ASEAN through this project.
That's great. Thank you so much. We're opening the floor to questions from Malacañang Press Corps. Harley Valbuena, DZME. Microphone, please.
Hello, good morning po. Sir, when can we expect the...
Let's try.
Hello, good morning po.
How about that? Some technical difficulties. Question from Harley Valbuena, again, of DZME. Please pass the mic.
Hello, good morning po.
Hello. Good morning po. Sir, when can we expect the establishment of the 772 free Wi-Fi sites that will concentrate on Mindanao?
Yes. So, since the NEDA board, chaired by His Excellency the President, approved this yesterday, there will be negotiations on the rates, yung interest rates with the World Bank, happening in the next few days. We hope to start procurement by early next year. So, progressive siya, but we should be able to complete by 2028, including yung fiber backbone. Even though we complete in 2028, the entire project is a 10-year project. So progressively, from 2025 to 2035, the entire free Wi-Fi sites that we will be building will be sustainable.
Gaano po kabilis yung speed na that we are talking about? Maybe in terms of Mbps or what? Doon po sa free
Yes.
Wi-Fi sites.
Thank you for that question. So right now, our SLA for this particular project is significantly higher than what we're providing. No? The minimum is 50 Mbps with what do you call that? With space for 200 Mbps.
And then, sir, last question po. Can you elaborate na lang po on how this project will strengthen the cybersecurity?
Yes, part of the component of the of this particular, there are 5 components to this particular project. Of course, the largest and the most expensive is the connectivity. Component 3 actually focuses on securing the network, the national fiber backbone for one, and also the free Wi-Fi networks. To give you an example, there is a law, no, yung Anti-Child Exploitation Act, which by the way reminds all internet service providers that we should be blocking child pornography, child exploitation sites, etc. No? So this particular, part of this entire package is to be able to create that security. No? For example, our free Wi-Fi site shouldn't be used for this. We will also be building a network operation center to monitor if there will be attacks against our sovereign network, no? Especially yung sinasabi ko nga, the national fiber backbone.
Okay. Joyce Balancho, ABS-CBN.
Sir, when we say free Wi-Fi sites, can you give us details? Anong klaseng sites po ito? Like public areas po ba to? Will it include public schools? Kasi doon din po nangangailangan ng Wi-Fi connection.
Thank you for that question, Joy. So we have a law, the Free Public Internet Access Law, which was passed 2016, if I remember that right. So for this particular project, we are actually just implementing the law, but we will be focusing on public schools, state universities and colleges, and rural health units. So yung 772 are mostly public schools and rural health units.
Chona Yu, People's Journal.
Sir, ilang
Meron.
ilang percent po sir ng kabuuang lugar sa bansa ang wala pang internet connection?
So we're not measuring it in terms of geographic area, but according to the 2023 International Telecommunications Union, 86.5 million Filipinos have access. Approximately there are 118 million Filipinos. We count as having access yung may access sa smartphone, mobile data. As long as may access ka sa mobile data, even though your area has no fixed broadband, for example, you still have access to the internet. Now, in terms of, so here we don't have the exact data, but what we know for a fact is that there are certain areas, like what I was mentioning, Region 13, na mababa talaga yung internet penetration rate. And that's why we're concentrating here. Kasi they are also not commercially viable. Globe, PLDT, Smart wouldn't bring their services there because the population is also, will not be able to support payment of a commercial internet. That's why it is a developmental project. No? Hopefully, when we are there, and once we get the cable networks ready, then we can tie up with the local government units and make this available also for fiber to home, along with the local providers. And this will increase internet penetration at home. Hindi lang dun sa free Wi-Fi sites, halimbawa public schools. This can also help in making sure that this particular facility is available even at homes.
Ivan Mayrina, GMA 7.
Yusek, good morning. In terms of number of users, how many are expected to benefit from this project?
772 we according to our estimates, no, the users would be around 5 million to 6 million. Pero medyo ano yan, that is on the low end. because we didn't attribute. Remember, this is a 10-year project, and we didn't make a projection on increase in population per year. But that is the current scope of this particular project.
Speaking of projections, you said that for every 10% increase in internet coverage, it constitutes a 1.38% increase in GDP.
That's correct.
By the time that this project is fully implemented, what is your projection on the actual economic impact of this?
The actual economic impact, so the project is $288 million US dollars. According to our estimates, the economic IRR, or the economic internal rate of return, is approximately between 26% to 36%, which means that we will be able to pay the loan 25 to 36%. So we will be able to pay the loan, and this is the conservative estimate pa. We'll be able to pay the loan and still get, in terms of economic growth, locally, kasi local project siya, no? We'll still be able to, like, 4.7 billion pesos on top of the requirements to repay the loan.
Sir, at the risk of asking you to state the obvious, how does this stimulate economic activity? Paki-elaborate nga ho, paano natin nakuha yung 1.38% increase in GDP
Okay,
pag mataas ang internet connectivity?
Thanks for that, Ivan. So, as we all know, internet connectivity is a requirement nowadays for a lot of movement of goods. For example, here in Metro Manila, we are all enjoying Grab, we're all enjoying Lazada, but in so many areas in the country, they don't even have access to e-commerce. And remember that e-commerce is two ways. One is e-commerce for the suppliers, and of course, e-commerce for the consumers. So, in terms of consumer growth, or the growth of the growth of consumption, which is part of our GDP being measured. Pag mayroong internet, syempre tataas din yung consumption kasi magkakaroon ng e-commerce. But more importantly, local players, local drivers, we're talking about local farmers, we're talking about your local sari-sari store, will now have access also to e-commerce and internet services. By putting proper infrastructure, they'll have access to, similar to Grab here in Metro Manila, but meron din silang digital supply chain, meron din silang way of receiving orders even though it's not local to their area. So it's like expanding their market. It's the same logic as building roads. We're trying to connect markets by building roads so that trucks can go there. Dito naman, we're building digital infrastructure so that communication flows, including e-commerce.
Thank you.
Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, sir. Magandang umaga po. Sir, can you give us more details about on how are you going to secure the sites dun sa mga free Wi-Fi areas, especially now na mukhang yung mga scammers are not just using text messages, but they are also looking into using Vibers or messengers?
Yeah. Now, that's a very tricky question, Maricel. No? So we are securing the network so that we will be able to check if our own sovereign network, because this is a sovereign fiber backbone, is being used to attack certain companies or countries. So we'll be able, without it's a very technical discussion, but we'll be putting in devices, we'll be putting in sensors to ensure that this network is not being used for illegal activities. No. It's a mitigation of risk. I'm not saying it will totally disappear, but we have to put the proper controls in place to mitigate that particular risk. Ngayon, now with regard to Viber and the use, I understand what you're saying about scams. Let us understand that it's a very complex problem. We now have the SIM card registration law, but you will notice the technology has changed, no? They're now using, for example, IMS eye catchers and fake BTS or fake radio units to be able to intercept radio transmissions and then rebroadcast it. For short, non-SIM based na yung scam. And then they're also using Viber, they're also using OTT boxes, etc., yung mga messenger, no? So unfortunately, we also need a law to be able to regulate that. So that's a different thing altogether. I hope I explained it. That's different. We need to also have the proper laws in place to be able to also regulate chat, mga ganyan, no? Lalo na kung ginagamit. For example, alam nyo ba lahat ng nahack sa Pilipinas, dinadump ang data through Telegram? But we don't have a regulation to be able to ask Telegram to give us the identity of who is this person dumping data. I'm talking about data of all of us, personally identifiable information. Diba? Wala tayong regulation na ganun. But don't worry, we've already contacted, we're talking to Congress about this. There are various bills pending in Congress about it.
Okay. Eden Santos, Net 25.
May kaugnayan din po dun sa question ni Maricel. So kung wala po tayong, binabanggit ninyo na wala tayong kasiguruhan ano po, para ma-secure yung mga users dun sa mga site na magkakaroon po ng free wifi, are we expecting na mas dadami yung bilang ng mga kababayan natin na posibleng ma-scam using this free Wi-Fi internet po?
Okay, thanks for that. No, no, I would like to believe and based from where, based on our implementation, the free Wi-Fi program of the Republic of the Philippines and of the DICT is actually secured, and we're trying to make it more secure with this particular Philippine digital infrastructure project, no? So I don't wanna kasi ang problema natin pag sinabi ko naman lahat ng security measures namin, baka bukas sabihin ng mga hackers, oh, ito pala. But we actually have this in place. For example, if you use our free Wi-Fi sites, I'm telling you right now, you can't use it for child pornography, etc. In fact, we're going the extra mile in order to make sure that that you're not misusing it. We also block porn. Example lang, no? So meron naman tayong measures dun sa free Wi-Fi project natin, especially because these are being used by students in the far-flung areas. So it's generally safe. I was just verbalizing that this is a very complex problem. Our attackers are also, employing newer technologies as they come out. So while we believe it is secure now, of course, we need to transition to more secure technologies in the future.
Opo, kasi nga di po ba problema ngayon yung tumataas na bilang ng mga kabataang nagiging biktima po ng child sexual abuse using yung mga internet, di po ba?
Correct, yes. So we're doing something about that. For example, we have sensors that actually scans the dark web, the surface web, so that we know in advance if some data was hacked and being sold in the public, or if there is child pornography emanating from the country. And we report this to NBI and the PNP.
Okay. Alvin Baltasar, Radyo Pilipinas.
Yusek, good morning. Aside from child pornography, ano pa po yung mga sites na naka-block doon sa mga free Wi-Fi sites?
Sa ngayon, wala scam sites at saka yung tinatawag nating command and control. Yung command and control, ito yung identified sites where if you were hacked, doon nagpapadala ng data. That's it. Because the rest is, we don't block sites in general, except if it is really dangerous to the public, or there is a law that says you have to block it.
Sir, medyo lilis lang ako doon sa free Wi-Fi sites, ano? Sir, do I have a figure kung ilan yung percentage na pumapasok sa government through online transactions? Since very consistent din naman si Pangulo na gumamit na ng online transaction sa mga government offices.
Sorry, I don't have that information, but I can get back to you on that. No? I don't have it with me right now.
Thank you. Kyle Atienza.
Hello, sir. Sir, can you elaborate on the Network Operations Center? Are there existing state NOC in the country right now? And also, what kind of national security threats will this network address?
Thanks for that question, Kyle. So we have a Network Operations Center right now. We also have a National Security Operations Center. In the DICT's National Computer Emergency Response Team, which responds to all these hacking incidents in the government, we have 30 agencies connected to it. That's why we were able to defend approximately, we've already done 2,900 early detection of attempts to government agencies, including LGUs. That's what it does, no? It has sensors that detects if there is an attempt, and then if there is an attempt, we mobilize our team to be able to mitigate it.
So can you elaborate on those 30 attempts?
No, 30 agencies are connected, 2,900 attempts.
Okay, sir. Can you, sir, give an example, sir, of the attempts?
Well, I think one of the well-reported in media is the attempt on our mail exchange services back in, was it late January or early February, no? Where we attributed this particular attack to Advanced Persistent Threat Group number 41, which is known to be Chinese APTs. So we detected that. There was also an attempt on the Department of Agriculture and DENR, and then we were able to detect that. So hindi na lumalabas sa media kasi nga na-mitigate natin. There was also an attempt, multiple attempts sa Philippine Coast Guard, for example. So yeah. Sorry, I don't have the entire, and some of these also are, you have to understand, I cannot also divulge details about existing investigations. But right now, the statistic stands at approximately 2,900 early detected. But when I say early detected, hindi sila nakapasok.
Sir, last question, sir. How would you assess the readiness of the Philippines in terms of countering such threats? Like, do you expect any other measures for us to boost our defense against these attacks, cyber attacks?
Okay. Although lumiliso tayo sa PDIP, but I guess that's okay, right? So what I would say is that we're significantly better now. Okay, we're significantly better now. Our detection mechanisms are there. Our protective systems are there. And you will notice that we are now sharing information also with our allies. Ibig sabihin, hindi na to one-way communication with our allies. We're also sharing with them how we found out certain tactics, techniques, and procedures being employed by hackers of international origin. Are we at par with our regional counterparts? To give you an example, Singapore is only like 6 million people, but they are detecting approximately 18,000 attacks per year. We are only detecting around 3,000 per year, but we are 118 million Filipinos. So I think we need to improve this by, for example, having a cybersecurity law that will mandate even the private sector to report to us if there is a cybersecurity incident, so that we have to address this together. So we have to increase our visibility of the entire cybersecurity landscape.
Okay. Follow-up from Joyce Balancho.
Sir, DICT is always saying that we're always short of personnel, of experts, whenever there are reported cases of cybersecurity issues. So, paano natin babantayan, sir, yung more than 700 news sites that it's going to be free from hacking, it's not going to be used for scamming and other illegal activities? Will DICT increase personnel? Will you hire more experts moving forward?
So that's a good question, but let me again separate the two issues. The 772 free Wi-Fi sites are controlled environments that are directly connected to the DICT servers and systems, which means it is easier to monitor them because there are automated ways to monitor this. It's easier. That said, DICT has the mandate for cybersecurity for everyone, even those like you who are not connected to us. Your systems at home is not connected to the DICT. PLDT systems, for example, and Globe Telecommunications are not connected to us. We're not monitoring it. So for that reason, we still need additional professionals, not only in government, but also in the private sector, to be able to sustain our drive to improve cybersecurity. For example, in other countries, there's approximately one certified professional for every 200 people, but in our case, it's one for every 2,000 or 3,000. We only have like 200 CISSPs, just to give you an example, and most of them are also, finding work abroad. So that's what we're trying to resolve: get them here. And how do we do that? By building an ecosystem of cybersecurity. We are the number one BPO destination in the world. So maybe, this is what we're trying to do: create a subsector like the BPO Security Operations Center. Some companies are already here, so that we can get in more private sector investment, and they will help us train the professionals needed.
Thank you so much, Undersecretary Dy, for explaining the PDIP and its relevance, and for putting the child protection in the heart of it all, because that is a priority of the president. He's mentioned it many times, the fighting online sexual abuse and exploitation of children. And of course, internet connectivity, cybersecurity is a very important part of the Marcos administration's vision for economic development that is sustainable and inclusive. Thank you, Undersecretary Dy.
Thank you, Daphne.
And thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. This concludes our press briefing this morning.